time were you kind of aware of the fire? How did you become aware of it?
At about 3:15, when I was catching the bus home, a bus driver mentioned that there'd been a fire on the bingo hall on Splott Road, and I knew that that was my area, so I was kind of worried from that point, trying to get home without getting inconvenienced too much by the detour.
Yeah. So by the time you got home, were people already being evacuated?
I think they had already been evacuated at that point. A lot of the areas were fenced off, and you could still get by on the corner at the top of Splott Road, but people were hanging around, they were talking about what was going on, speculating as to the cause.
What information were you given regarding where you weren't allowed in your house? At what point were you told that?
Yeah, I wasn't told specifically. I didn't ask at that point. I just thought, okay, my house is inaccessible. I'm going to have to go call a friend or something. It started hailing at that point. So I didn't take the time to speak to anyone in uniform about when I was going to be allowed back in.
So did anyone approach you?
No.
No? So how were you aware of the Star Centre? I know people were evacuated towards the Star Centre. How did that
I
come
actually
about?
wasn't aware of that until the next day. After I'd spent the night on a friend's sofa, I kind of tried to find out when I'd be allowed back in, and it's not until I think about 5:30 on Tuesday that I was, the Star Centre was mentioned to us by someone. We had been asking several times over the night and in the morning about it. It's not until then that they said, go get registered, they'll discuss with you what we can do from here.
Okay, and who was it? Workers of the Star Centre, or are there an organisation there? I believe I saw someone there from the Red Cross. Was there when you went and spoke to them? Was
I
it?
believe they were workers at the Star Centre. A guy called Stephen introduced himself as, I think, the duty manager in crisis management. So he took my details. He said they were looking into a hotel for us, that sort of thing. Fortunately, that wasn't necessary by that point. I inquired further with the fire officer and could get back home by then.
So how do you feel like the situation was handled by emergency services? Obviously, you've just said that you weren't approached at all.
It wasn't, but I think realistically there were loads of people around. The only frustration for me was that I got given some quite inconsistent information. Tuesday afternoon, evening, when I first spoke to a police officer, he said that my property would not be accessible. It was kind of ambiguous. There was tape across the door, but it was outside the fenced-off area at that point. He said, no, you can't go back in. Go talk to the community centre, get set up with a hard hat, and we'll let you in to grab some things, just sort of supervised access. And it's not until I'd kind of done the rigmarole, going down there, signing up, coming back up, talking to the fire officer, that's when they said, oh no, you'll be fine, just go in.
Yeah. Okay, so and you're back in your house now?
I am, thankfully, and not everyone's so lucky.
How have you got neighbours? What is the situation at home now that you're back there?
I really am lucky. So because we were upwind for most of what was going on, I think there's no smoke damage, there's no trouble or anything. And we're kind of just across the road from it as well. So I think we're safe. We're allowed back in, it's not caused any problems. But I know that there are so many people who are spending 3 nights away who, it might be a lot harder for them. No, I really feel for them.
And just finally, just a side one, how would you describe now the atmosphere in the community? I know the local, I think it's a pub rugby social club, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's still closed down.
Sure,
the news agents, it affected a lot of businesses. What's the atmosphere like in the community now? Is it? I mean, are they more excited, like happy that it's been? Is it over? Or is the loss of that property going to have an effect?
I haven't spoken to any of the sort of business owners of those shops. I don't know how they're feeling about it. I know it must be hitting them quite hard. I think the general feeling is, I think adversity as a way of bringing people together. There was quite a nice atmosphere. People were talking to each other a bit more just because there was something obvious to talk about, I suppose. A big conversation breaker. So I don't know what the long-term effects will be, but I think as a community it does pull people together, and we'll do what we can to cooperate with everyone and get everyone set up in their homes as quickly as we can.
And what do you think the loss of that property, and I know that it's a very old property, it's 102 years old, is that going to be a major loss to
I think
the
so.
community?
I wasn't aware how much significance it had until I read up on it, to be honest. I'm quite new to the area, but having read up on it, it used to be a cinema, it was a bingo hall. People have very fond memories of it, and I'm sure they'll be feeling the loss of it.
That's great, thank you very much.